Opium King, or Mr. I'm trying to build up my aura so I can drop an album, or Mr. I'm too cool to drop an album. It's been almost 4 years. Literally Fumbled, probably one of the best album rollouts I've seen in a while, and garnered so much attention that I thought he was literally harder than literally anyone. Obviously I'm talking about Playboi Carti, but he had the whole opium and popularized the word aura that's so overused and saturated that I hate it when anyone ever uses that word, even if it has nothing to do with Cardi or any rapper. I just don't like the word anymore. Cardi fumbled probably arguably one of the greatest rollouts I've seen modern time, obviously with the era of technology. This guy had a great rollout, actually. I really thought he was going to drop in January, February. I was like, holy shit, he's going to drop. Mr. King Vamp himself is going to drop. The guy with Ultra Aura, whatever people want to call him, or say he has, was going to drop. You had academics reporting it, put it on the screen. You had him actually dropping consistently over and over and over again. Yes, it wasn't no official drops on DSPs, digital streaming services providers. He was dropping. He had the Hood by Air, he had 2024, he had Ketamine, he had that song with Travis Scott, Backrooms, I think, You're the Moon, all those. I like to think Hood by Air and 2024 were the standouts. Those are really, really good. Those are quality tracks I can go back to. I don't, because they're not official releases. I'm not going to stream songs that are not official. I will go on YouTube back once in a while, but he was dropping, right? Dropping is better than no dropping, okay? Even if it's not like really official and he's releasing it on Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that, it's fine. That's fine. But this guy had the world in his hands, it felt like. On Twitter, it was always something about Cardi, and I was excited for it. I was like, okay, I'm ready for this freaking album, dude. I'm like, he's actually gonna drop. He's actually being active on social media. He's gonna drop. He's getting on these features. He's on Fiend. That charts on the top 10 Hot 100. He hops on Carnival. That goes #1. He hops on Type Shit with Metro, Future, and them. That does really good. I think that charts on the top 10 Hot 100 as well. He's having hits. He's going for a run with features. Obviously, he had the popular song with The Weeknd. That also did very well. If you look at his Spotify, put it on screen, all his most popular songs that are being streamed out, all of them are features with him on it. That's saying a lot, because his name holds a lot of weight these days. But ever since the Kendrick Drake beef, his hype just evaporated. I would say ever since We Don't Trust You dropped, I've heard his name significantly less. It's like Kendrick just took all the attention off him. Drake took all the attention off him. It's not even his fault. It's crazy because on that same album, he still had a song on there that charted in the top 10, yet no one talks about it anymore. I hated the song Type Shit. Repetitive, didn't like the song. It wasn't good. But for someone like Kendrick to get more buzz than you these days, it's kind of insane. Like, if you told me beginning of this year that Kendrick's gonna get more buzz than Cardi, I would have been like, hell no. No way. No way, but here we are. I'm not saying Kendrick doesn't have that draw. I'm just saying right now, everyone gives a fuck about Cardi. That's the thing these days, the whole aura thing, the whole his presence, all that. It gravitates a lot to younger people, and that's how you stay hip and relevant these days. If you're not catering to that audience, you're not going to be relevant. And unfortunately, Kendrick doesn't really cater to those demographics, but Cardi definitely does. Same with Yeet. That's why people like Yeet a lot too. Ken Carson, all these dudes, Opium, whatever. It's more than just music. It's a brand, it's an image, it's a display. That's why people really like these people. It's become a meme. It's just became a culture. Whether you like it or not, that's how it is. But Cardi had the most hype end of January, beginning of February. Charts here. His most peak interest of Google searches was early February. This was the peak of his interest. Peak of excitement, anticipation, whatever you want to say. It was there, but never pulled the trigger. I don't know if it was because of Vultures, he wanted to get another feature on there, or he was riding the hype off of Carnival, which, by the way, Rich the Kid Carry, that hook was fire. Still a good song. People are saying it's overplayed, but that doesn't take away its quality of a song, it's a banger. I don't understand what his team was doing, what he was doing. Why didn't the album just drop? It was the perfect time to drop it right then and there in February. It had to be in February or January, in my opinion, but February made the most sense. Looking at the charts, the statistics, everything, it made sense. But We Don't Trust You dropped in. It just took everything away from him. I'm not saying he fell off. I'm just saying that the buzz is nowhere near as it was like 2-3 months ago. Crazy because of just one beef that happened that would overshadow literally anything and everyone. The talk of the town was just Drake and Kendrick. That's it. No one gave a fuck about anyone else other than those two guys. Maybe Metro for his Metro grooming tweets from a decade ago, but who cares about that? But I don't know what Carti's doing from that. I think now it's like people are actually starting to lose interest. I'm starting to lose interest. If he dropped in February, I would have been right then and there ready to listen to it. If it dropped at 9 p.m., I got work the next day, I'm still listening to it. But now it's like I'm not bumping it. I'm not bumping it instantly. I'm not. Maybe the next day or on the weekend when I feel like I got time. That peak interest is gone. I'm not saying Carti's bad. I'm not saying he's washed. I'm just saying that interest has definitely left. My peak interest in Carti's music, his album, was in February, January. Now it's like, dude, I'm tired of these singles that he's dropping on his Finsta, YouTube, whatever it is. Just drop the album, bro. Because these features, these singles, they're starting to sound very, very similar. I know it's not a bad thing because all his albums sound different. They're all different parts of his career that made him evolve. That's why people think Whole Lotta Rev was generational, which I'll give it its respect. It's definitely aged well over time with the community. But the problem I have right now with this run is that he's doing a whole lot of nothing with it. These features are great. These singles they're hit or miss with me. But the more he keeps doing it, the more exhausted I'm gonna get with it, and the more when I hear that album, I'm gonna be like, these just sound like his features or his old singles. It gets old after a while, and I'm ready for the album. Everyone else is. Stop dragging it, because at this point it feels like he's dragging it rather than actually building anticipation, because I think it's almost starting to dwindle. I'm not saying no one cares. Clearly people care. It's fucking Carti. A lot of people are gonna tune in. I think he's gonna sell close to 200K first week. Anything better than Lil Baby these days. I think he's took that audience from him, basically, to garner some other type of people. Yeah, I just don't think he's at the number one spot right now for most excitement for an album, simply because of Kendrick. Before I would have said Carti is the next dude that people are looking for to drop an album, and now I think it's Kendrick. And I know it sounds crazy for me to even think that Carti would be over Kendrick, but the truth is that's just the truth of it. He catered to an audience that was younger, a demographic that is really contributing to the most streams these days. We have the most free time, and that allows you to get more streams and allow you to sell higher. And I just think he would have made a more of an impact than Kendrick would with this album. He's got that influence. There's a reason why a lot of people copy his sound. A lot of people call some of these derivatives of himself clones. There's a reason for it. But there's really not much else left to say or for him to do at this point. I think it's time for him to just drop the album. I think people were getting tired of waiting. There was a leak on Vultures too. I think it was called Field Trip. Wasn't great. I think at this point it's time for him to drop. He's already got his first number one with Kanye. Cool. Just did it. Awesome. But it's time for him to go do it on his own, because he doesn't need anyone. Let's keep it a buck. I like to think that all these songs performed well is because of his name. Actually, yeah. I think he's more of a draw these days for features than someone like Travis Scott, Kendrick, Drake. He just is, simply just because of his rarity, his aura. I know it can get really, really corny or cliche by saying that, but it's simply the truth of it. Someone who is popular as him and is very elusive throughout the year, they start to view him as like a shiny Pokemon, and everyone's gonna get excited for it because he rarely shows up, and when he does, it's always magic. Music 2024, like that's a good song. But yeah, I don't know what Carti does from here. He really fumbled his rollout. Should have dropped in February, but I guess there's always next year. But I don't think he's ever gonna reach that height of hype ever again. I don't see it happening. But who knows? Maybe he wants to drop 13 singles again next year. We'll see.